Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I finally did it. I'm so excited to share this moment with you guys. I finally brought back my dead iPhone to life. So as you can see, this is an iPhone 5 which was with me for a really long time, sitting in my cupboard. It was actually dead. It had a dead motherboard. So I finally was able to restore it back into working condition today. And I'm going to talk to you guys about what are my experiences, what I learned, and is it worth doing this? So let's get started. So to tell you a little bit about this iPhone, I got it in a dead condition and it was sitting in my cupboard for quite some time. And it just struck me one day, why don't I give it a shot? Let's just see what happens. What's the issue with this phone? So what I did was I took it out, I took the phone apart, and I soon realized that it had an issue with its motherboard. As you can see, this is its original motherboard, which was within the phone. So right now this motherboard is dead. So you can see these are the LCD connectors, these three. This is for the volume rockers and mute switch. This is your SIM slot. This is for your dock connector. These four are for your battery. And this tiny guy right there, that's for your cellular connection. If you turn it on the back, right here, that's for the camera. And you have another little tiny guy, that's for your Wi-Fi connection. So this is the motherboard of the iPhone 5, and this actually has an power IC issue. So the only way to rectify this is to take apart the motherboard and try to replace the IC chips. It's not so viable because it's pretty costly to do this, and you don't find a handful of shops. I don't know about India, but in Bangalore I don't think you have a lot of shops who are willing to replace the IC chips, as you need to know soldering skills and all of that. So what I did was, rather than spending a lot of money on getting the IC chips fixed, what I did was I thought I'll just try to find a replacement motherboard. So I went online and tried to find a replacement motherboard, and I didn't quite find a lot in India. Most of them were to be shipped in from New York or from the UK, and they were really pretty costly, including your import duties. So what I did was I found a Chinese website called DHgate, and these guys are great. The Chinese, they've got spares for everything, seriously everything. So I found a lot of spares for almost any iPhone. So for my 5 I found its motherboard and all its spares along with it. I'll just show it to you on my 5S. I'll drop the link in the description. Just head over to DHgate and you will see I found an iPhone 5 motherboard. As you can see, it's a 16 gig 100% unlocked motherboard. Do note that you need an unlocked motherboard. If you get a locked motherboard, you cannot use it in India. So if you guys are ordering a motherboard, make sure it's unlocked. So this is the back. So I found a good seller. The seller was a decent guy, and he was always quick in response to any of the queries I had. So the shipment took around 15-20 days to arrive in India, and it was pretty good. The packaging was really good, and so once the shipment came, I was really excited. I put in the new motherboard and tried to power on the phone, but unfortunately it still did not power on. So it was a pretty big bummer at that time. I thought, I hope I didn't get scammed. Did he send me a dead motherboard or what? But then what I did was I got out the old battery. This is the old battery which was in the iPhone. As you can see, it's in pretty bad condition. It's all worn out, and yeah, here is manufactured in 2015. So it's a pretty old battery, and you can see its age. So this battery is completely, not completely worn out. It's almost 40-50% worn out. And this, if you put this battery within the iPhone, the phone does turn on, but it cannot sustain. So the moment you pull it out of DC power supply, the phone gets into a reboot loop because the battery is not able to provide sufficient power to keep the motherboard on. So I got a brand new battery and I tried it with a brand new battery, but still the phone didn't turn on. Then I suspected, okay, maybe the display is bad. So I took the display into one of our local repair shops, and the guy said, yep, the display is having an issue. So I got a brand new display, and voila, it turned on. I assembled the whole phone together and the phone turned on right now. And the motherboard came with iOS 10, but as you can see right now, this phone is running iOS 7. The reason being, I used the iOS 10 jailbreak and then used Coolboot and downgraded it to iOS 7. So that's why you can see it's iOS 7 right here. And it's a 16GB iPhone. Now, why did I go through all of this? Well, since launch day of the iPhone 5, I really fell in love with this design, and especially this black slate color, which you don't get on any other iPhone. In the 5S, you see in the background is a space gray, and no other iPhone has this black slate gorgeous look. So I really loved this, especially this color on the iPhone 5, and I'd always wanted an iPhone 5, but I could just not get my hands around it. And so finally I was really excited since I got an iPhone in that color. Even though it's dead, I'm really happy that at least I'm able to get it back into working condition. But right now, as you can see, the power button doesn't work, and the earpiece isn't functioning as well, so I've got to rectify that. The power button is not my priority right now, but I really need to get that earpiece working. I've sourced the parts for the earpiece and it should arrive in a day or two, so I'll change up the earpiece. Otherwise, this phone is completely functioning. Everything is working, including your headphone jack, your speakers, your lightning connectors, volume rockers, mute switches, and the front facing camera. Everything works, so I'm really happy about this. Now let's talk about whether this is feasible, whether it's viable, and whether it's worth your time, effort, and money. If you have a dead iPhone or a dead iPad lying at home, I'm not saying that the problem could be a motherboard issue. It could just be you have a worn out battery and just a battery replacement could do the work for you. Or you might have a worn out charging port. Once you just replace the charging port, the phone will be fine. Or you have a broken display, a shattered display, or an issue with the display connectors within the phone. That could also be an issue. Or if none of this is an issue, in the worst case scenario, yes, you could have a problem with your motherboards. And if you do have an issue with your motherboards, then repairing the motherboards will cost a lot of money, and they're not quite worth it. I'll tell you why. If you guys are interested to get your motherboards repaired, or get a brand new motherboard, do make sure that all the other components of the phone work. Do make sure that your display works, your battery works, your buttons work, your lightning connector works, and all other important aspects of the phone, your power button, make sure it works. Because even if you get a new motherboard, just like I did, you will end up spending a lot more money getting the other parts. Like, you need to get a new display, you need to get a battery, and you need to get a new lightning connector. And displays are not cheap. Displays and batteries, do note, they are not cheap. Even motherboards are not so cheap. So if you really need to get a brand new motherboard, make sure that all the other components of the phone work. Then it's a feasible and viable option that yes, you can go in for a motherboard replacement. So that's it with the motherboard. Now, what I have in plan for this iPhone right now, it's in the black slate color, and what I would like to do is I would like to get a new housing for this iPhone to restore it back to its original glory, into that gorgeous black slate. As you can see, all the black has worn off, the top has worn off, the phone has a lot of chips and dings, it has been dropped a couple of times, and the back is all scratched up, even the Apple logo, as you can see there. So this phone has been through a lot, so I would like to get a brand new back housing for this. Also, another project I have in mind is this 5S. As you can see here, its back is also in a pretty bad condition. I'm not sure you can see the scratches in the lighting, but it has a lot of scratches in the Apple logo here, and all of this is not dust, all of these are nicks within the anodized aluminum. So I would like to change up this as well. As you can see, it has a lot of dents right there. There's one on the top right there. Yeah, now you can see it much better. So all over the phone, it has been pretty roughly used. The display is in perfect condition. This phone is in perfect condition. There is no issues with it. So all I need to do is get a brand new housing, and this phone is going to look gorgeous again. I have already ordered its housing and should be arriving within a day or two. I've ordered the champagne gold, so the next time you see this phone is going to be champagne gold. So I can't wait to do that as well. So first I'm going to tackle up the 5S housing, and then if I succeed in the 5S housing, then I'm going to do the iPhone 5 housing. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. All I wanted to say is that do believe in yourself. If you do, you can do anything. I could never imagine that I could get a dead iPhone to work. I could never imagine in my wildest dreams that I could get an Apple motherboard out and figure out where the parts come, where the motherboard is. As you can see, all of these parts are really minuscule, very tiny, and it takes a lot of patience to detach the motherboard, including all the screws. Few of them are long, few of them are short, and all the complexities which accompany when working with iPhones. So I'm really glad that I was able to do it. And one thing I'd like to suggest all of you is that if you have a dead Apple product at your home, don't just chuck it out into the trash. Even if you have a motherboard issue, I highly recommend that you keep it with you. Who knows, in the future you can get it fixed up. Right now in India, I'm not sure how many people do resoldering and changing up the IC chips and all the complicated operation, but abroad, yes, you do have a lot of opportunities where you can get your dead motherboard fixed up. So I highly recommend you keep it with you, and one fine day, who knows, maybe you can get your old iDevice working just like I did. So I hope you guys liked the video. Do stay tuned for the upcoming projects for both the iPhones, and I'll see you in my next one. Please do like and subscribe, and have a great day.